I'm very appreciated for organizing such a nice presentation. I think it's after 2 years that I could see the old professors from different universities due to this pandemic. By taking permission from Uzgurucu, I will start this presentation. And also, I'm very happy that 2 previous presentations were about the marble dust, and this one is also about that. But when we wanted to do this research were done with my master's student and some professor from Russia. We were thinking that, okay, when we are using the marble dust, there are lots of research, several articles. So why this marble dust is not applicable yet? So why we are not using? So what's the reason then? Okay, we are saying that the marble dust is good. It can be substituted in a cement. We can use it. It will bring down the cost of the concrete. It will be environmental friendly. So why we are not using? So it was the thing that we start to make research. We collected around 100 articles to go over the different properties of the marble dust and granite dust on the concrete. And we collected all information. And after that, we asked some questions from the researchers all around the world and asked, okay, why do you think that this dust, this waste material, is not applicable yet in the construction sector? So, first of all, as the other professors mentioned, we are using too much concrete, we are using too much cement, we are producing lots of stones, marble, granite, and this, beside of that, we will have lots of waste material. For example, for the marble dust, out of 100%, if we assume for the stone, just 50% will be gained to be used for the different purpose. So 50% rest will be applied for the processing waste, polishing, quarrying. So we are not going to use this 50%. So what we should do with this 50% that we are facing with? Like marble dust, granite dust is also a byproduct produced during the process, cutting, grinding of granite stone. According to estimate, approximately 65% of the waste is produced during different industrial process on granite stone. So even it's more than marble dust, which was around 50%. Like marble dust, granite dust causes environmental problem like air, pollution, land infertility, and spoiling natural beauty. So in this term, parallel to this, based on the group of AG8, they were focused basically on the cement production, and they're inspecting too much how they can reduce the pollution due to cement production. So they tried to actually suggest, the researchers tried to give some solution. One of the good solution was the substituting of the cement by using the waste materials. You know that. We have several waste materials that we could use it, like fly ash, silica fume, rice ash, GGBS, limestone, marble dust, granite dust. So still there is a question why we are not using, we could not convince the companies, the construction sector, to use these in an official way. Okay, in this island, we have lots of universities, we have lots of researchers, and we have very good articles. Ertuğ Hoca mentioned, Şevket Hoca mentioned. So why it's not applicable? So why the companies in here still are not using this material for producing the concrete? So this is a very big question that everyone might have in their mind. So but before starting to go over the reasons, I would like to give very brief information about why the marble dust, granite dust might be useful. Because first we should have some background, and we should prove that, okay, this material will be useful in the construction. It could be a sustainable material in the construction sector, and then we could go over the reason of why they are not using. So there are several studies which shows that the marble dust have greater lime and magnesium concentration, while the granite dust have greater quantity of silica and alumina. So these are the basic material that we are using to accelerate or produce the hydration. So based on this chemical composition, it shows that these two materials might be useful in our concrete production. The first question might be based on the workability of these two materials. So out of these 100 articles that we went over, we found that 99% mentioned this adding material will decrease the workability of the marble, the workability of the concrete. However, there were few articles that was showing that it was increasing. It might be based on some different reasons. By the way, when we have a marble dust and granite dust which are smaller than 75 micrometer, this decreasing will be shown highlightly and in a better way. The increase in water demand of all cement composite containing marble slurry may be due to higher surface area, which is almost around 0.67 meters square per gram, compared to the surface area of the cement, which is 0.32 meters square per gram, which lead to an increase in the need of water. So one of the reasons that it was mentioned was based on the surface area which absorbed too much water. So this is the table if I want to show you in here. So the detail will be available in the article if you were interested. Just if you see in all the articles which were collected, it shows that the workability was decreased. So you could see that just in one case that I mentioned to you, this one, they mentioned that it's making no change for the workability of the concrete. But in all terms, you could see that. So regarding the initial and the final setting time, it will actually decelerate the hydration process. It will delay somehow. Based on the mechanical properties, it's so interesting. Based on some reason that I will mention, some article mentioned that it will increase the mechanical property. Some article mentioned that it will decrease the mechanical property, but it will be based on some reason that I will mention. For example, some researchers believe that incorporation of marble and granite dust as a semi-replacement in cementitious composite decrease mechanical property, especially compressive strength, while some report increase in mechanical. So I have mentioned the reason of the decrease and also the reason of increase, but I think it will be bored for some audiences, so I will not mention. Just I want to tell you that these two parts might be there. However, decreasing of the mechanical property is not that much highlighted that we want to say, okay, we are not going to use it. Still, it will be applicable when we want to use this material. In summary, for the mechanical properties, I would like to mention that the addition of marble granite dust as a cement replacement in CC can be both detrimental and effective for the mechanical properties of cementitious composition depending upon various factors. So this factor will be based on the particle size of the marble granite dust, addition of the other SCM, which is very, very important, water to binder ratio, addition of the super plasticizer, and the source of the marble and granite dust. Because based on the source, the chemical composition might be different, and it might affect on the hydration rate of our composite. However, the decrease in mechanical properties of marble dust and granite dust, modified CC can be compensated by addition of other SCM like fly ash, silica fume, and GGBS. We had some articles which were showing that if we add fly ash and silica fume, it will mitigate this decrement of mechanical properties. So for the durability, I just listed in here the table, which shows that most of the articles were believed that the durability of the concrete by adding the marble and granite dust will be improved. So there is no any contradiction in this regard. But why I mentioned this? Okay, we are saying that the mechanical property, the durability, the workability will be good for actually such a concrete or cementitious composite. So what is the sustainability assessment and what is the challenges that we are facing? So in order to evaluate the capability of these two dust as a semi-replacement, we had distributed 100 questionnaire to 100 professors from all around the world from United States, Australia, Belgium, Germany, France, Finland, India, Pakistan, Turkey, Russia, Hong Kong, China, Japan, Brazil, Egypt, and Iran. And we were asking about what do you think about application or adding this material to the concrete. And interestingly was that when we wanted to distribute, because it was in the pandemic situation, so we distributed 300 and we collected 100 answer. Out of 300, just 100 person replied to us. But we tried, when we wanted to distribute, just the person who were working or made some research or in the construction and were facing with supplementary cement material. So first, in terms of environmental aspect, the participating researchers were asked to identify the main benefit of incorporating marble granite dust as a semi-replacement in a cementitious composite. So if you see in here, we put some questions, and the most important answer that we have received was about the reduction in environmental degradation. So it was very important for them as a basic or initial application of these two materials. So in terms of environmental, we might say that it could be useful. And then in terms of economic aspect, so we did the analysis of the cost compressive strength of the grade M30 produced by replacing cement with 0 to 60% of marble distribution. So the result in here, you could see that based on the life cycle cost analysis. So by decreasing, it's normal because we are substituting the waste material with the cement. So of course, when we could do such a thing, the cost will be decreased and we could save more money. So it was in terms of economical. In terms of social aspect, this aspect of sustainability include the various parameters related to this topic for well-being of society, health improvement, job opportunity, as good working environment. Basically, the marble dust and granite dust, if we just leave it in the environment, they will not be useful. They will make some problem for the health, and we will find some society issue. So the replacement of cement with marble and granite dust will also decrease the cement production, leading to reduce the air pollution apart from the health improvement. The usability of these two can be improved for other aspects of society and the country. So also we were asking if we import the marble dust and granite dust, so what the researchers were thinking about this. So if you see in here, based on the respondent, the most important one was the cost reduction of the granite dust and marble dust, and second one was the development of the local firms in terms of society aspect. So after that, we had some challenges. Despite of the homogeneous laboratory research and statistical analysis data representing potential of the using of these two dust as a semi-replacement, we have lots of problems which restrict us to use this type of waste materials. The trying factor responsible for this restriction include uncertain specification, properties, risk, and cost. So one of the reasons that we could not actually convince the companies to use this is the risk that they don't really accept to go over it. So if there is no instruction, if there is no manual, we cannot convince them, okay, go take this material and use it, although there are lots of researchers even in this island. So it is very difficult. So what we are thinking, first let me finalize this part. So,
Ali Hocam, can you summarize in 2 minutes, please?
Okay, Hocam. So the reason that the people are not using, or the companies are not using marble dust and granite dust based on the researchers that we asked were based on these parameters. The technological backwardness, unavailability of design code and standard that you could see was the most important parameter, unavailability of marble dust, granite dust in resource deficient countries. So in some countries there there is no marble, there is no mines, the ores that they want to take it, excavate it, and use it. Just they should import it. Another one is this stakeholder trust issues. So it's very important that we could observe, we could convince them. And another one was the unavailability of practice example. So if one company, one university, in the real project, they apply it and do the test and really examine in the real, so it could actually draw the other company's attention to, okay, this project was done successfully, so we could go over this and we could do it. So these two were very important. The first, unavailability of design code and the standard, and the second, unavailability of practice example. Another thing on this basis was there is no specific procedure to store and handle the marble dust, granite dust. It is very, very important, as the marble dust, granite dust are very fine and very water absorbent, and especially for this island, so they can easily get moist and hard and become unfit to use the cement replacement. So it will be difficult. They will get hardened, and this hardened will be very difficult. Again, if we want to grind it, we want to make it fine, and again, we want to apply it. So one of the reasons might be this one, especially for this island. And another one is most of the developing countries do not care about the environmental degradation due to production and consumption of the cement. They don't care about the environmental issue. They are rich enough. They are not caring about the price. So they would rather to go in a safe side and try to do what is available and what is already examined. So that's why we are not making risks to go over and redo and remake some production that they don't know what will happen for that. And also there are some conclusions that I will not go over it. Just I would like to bring your mind about this article was about 75 pages. So if it was like a actually chapter. So if you want to go over it in more detail, you could go over it. Just I wanted to bring your attention at what's the reason that the companies are not using such a waste materials. And what I'm thinking is that there should be one sector, especially for this island, that there are lots of research, one sector between the university and the company that could bring in over the company's mind, okay, we have this research, we have this article, we have this output, so how we could apply these in our company and how we could reduce the risk. We should convince them. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.